The alien council laughed as the golden hall filled with music and bright lights. They raised shining cups in the air and spoke about old victories and new empires. They spoke about Earth like it was a dead rock with no name left in the stars. Outside the great windows, the planet of Varkon glowed under a calm sky, and far away, silent ships floated like dark statues. All of them carried one truth in their minds: humanity was lost. For 300 years the galaxy had lived without humans. No ships, no signals, no words, no warning. The human worlds were taken, the human stations were broken, the human flags were burned, and the last human message was only static. Many alien children were taught the same lesson: humans were weak, humans were proud, humans vanished, and no one cared. But in the deep edge of forgotten space, a small patrol ship drifted through a quiet dust field. It was Captain Selu of the Dravik Navy, and he hated this mission. It was boring and cold and empty. His scanners found old metal ruins floating in the dark. He sighed and ordered his crew to check it. They moved closer and saw broken pieces of a human relay station. The symbol of Earth was still on it, faded and cracked. Selu laughed and told his crew to record it as junk and leave. Then the ship lights flickered. Every monitor went black. The engine sound became strange, like a slow heartbeat. And a single line of white text appeared on every screen. "We are back." Selu froze, his mouth went dry, his hands tightened on the chair. He told the crew to reboot the system, but the message stayed. "We are back." Again and again, like a whisper inside the ship. One crew member tried to cut the power, but the screens turned on by themselves. The signal did not come from the broken station. It came from behind it. A shadow moved through the dust field like a mountain sliding through fog. Selu looked out the front window, and his heart dropped. A massive ship was there. Its hull was dark and scarred like old steel. Its shape was long and heavy with deep armor lines and silent gun towers. Its engines glowed blue like two cold suns waking from sleep. It was not alien. It was human. No flags, no lights, no open channels, only a cold presence that made the air feel heavy. Selu tried to speak, but his voice broke. He sent a warning to the council and every nearby fleet. Unknown human vessel, detected message, repeated, "We are back." The human ship slowly turned toward his patrol ship. A small door opened on its side, and a light flashed once like an eye opening. Selu whispered that humans were dead. He whispered it again and again like a prayer. But the ship moved closer, and the dust around it bent like space itself was afraid. Then a new message appeared on the screens. "Do not run." Selu ordered full speed escape, but the engines failed like they were frozen in time. The human ship drifted beside them, silent and endless. And far behind it in the darkness, more blue lights began to appear one by one, like stars rising in a new sky. Selu could not breathe. His patrol ship was shaking softly like it was trapped in a storm, but outside there was only silent dust and cold stars. The human warship stayed beside them like a giant shadow with blue engines burning slow and steady. The message on every screen stayed the same: "Do not run." His crew looked at him with wide eyes. Some were praying, some were crying. One young officer whispered, "Captain, they are watching us." Selu forced his voice to stay calm. He ordered emergency power reroute. He ordered manual control. He ordered anything that could bring the engines back, but nothing worked. It was like the ship had forgotten how to move. Then the human ship sent a new signal, not words this time, but sound, a low, deep tone that vibrated through the walls. It felt old and heavy like a heartbeat of a sleeping beast. The tone stopped, and the patrol ship lights returned to normal. The screens showed stars again, and for 1 second Selu thought it was over. Then a hologram formed in the air above the command deck. A human figure appeared. Not a real body, only a pale blue shape. A soldier in armor with a broken helmet and a dark visor. No face was seen, only the shape of a human standing tall. The crew stepped back in fear. The figure spoke in a calm, simple voice. "You enter protected space." Selu tried to answer. He swallowed hard and said, "We're Dravik Navy patrol. This region is under Varkon control. Identify yourself." The human figure paused like it was thinking. "This region is human territory." Selu felt cold run down his spine. He wanted to laugh, but he could not. He wanted to say humans are gone, but the giant ship outside was real. Selu said the galaxy declared humanity lost 300 years ago. The human voice replied, "The galaxy lied." Then the human figure lifted one hand, and the patrol ship window dimmed like glass. Turning dark, a new image appeared across it, showing a star map. Selu saw many systems marked in red. The human voice spoke again. These worlds were taken, these people were hunted, these names were erased. Selu stared at the map and saw something that made his stomach twist. The red marks were moving like living fire, spreading across the stars. Selu asked, "What do you want?" The human voice stayed calm. "We want our dead returned." Selu did not understand. Then he saw small symbols appearing on the map, tiny lights turning on in dark regions far beyond known lanes. Ship signatures. Human signatures. Hundreds, then thousands. Selu whispered no. His crew screamed as the space outside changed. The darkness opened like a door, and more ships appeared behind the first one, huge and silent, with blue engines glowing. Some were shaped like blades, some like towers, some like long ancient beasts made of steel. They formed a wall around the patrol ship, blocking every direction. Selu tried to send a full message to the council, but his transmitter only sent empty noise. He realized the humans were controlling everything. The human figure turned its head slightly towards Selu. "Your leaders will hear us soon." Selu asked how. The human voice replied, "We will speak with fire." The hologram faded, and the patrol ship systems returned all at once. Engines started again. Alarms went silent. Weapons unlocked, but Selu knew it was pointless. Outside, the first human ship began to move forward, slow and unstoppable, and every other ship followed. The wall of steel drifted toward Varkon's space like a storm that could not be stopped. Selu finally received one last signal on his private channel. It was short and cold. "Watch." Then far ahead, the stars flashed, and a bright line of light cut across the void, heading toward the nearest Varkon outpost. And Selu understood the return was not a message anymore. It was the beginning of a war. The Varkon border outpost was called Gate 9. It floated near a giant blue gas planet, and its job was simple: check ships, collect taxes, stop smugglers, no one there expected fear. When the first human fleet arrived, the outpost sensors screamed like they were alive. The station commander ran to the main deck and stared at the screen in shock. There were too many ships, too many signals, too much mass moving together like a moving city. The Varkon officer beside him whispered, "It is impossible, humans are gone." The commander tried to calm his crew. He ordered all cannons ready. He ordered the defense shield to full power. He ordered every fighter to launch. But the human fleet did not slow. It came through the dark like silent thunder. The biggest ship moved forward, and the blue light from its engines painted the station walls like cold fire. Then a human message entered every open channel across the outpost, simple and clear. "Leave human space." The commander laughed. Because fear can look like anger, he shouted into the channel, "This is Varkon-controlled territory. Identify yourself now." The human message came again, "Leave human space." No threats, no rage, only cold, calm words. The commander chose pride over sense. He ordered fire. Hundreds of bright shots flew into space, lasers, missiles, plasma beams. The station guns roared, and the fighters rushed like angry insects. The human fleet did not answer with noise. It answered with silence. One human ship lifted a single turret, and a thin blue pulse flew out like a straight line. The outpost shield shattered like glass. The station broke apart in seconds, metal plates, spinning bodies, flying lights dying. The Varkon commander did not even scream because the air was gone and his world became darkness. Far away, Selu watched from his patrol ship. His hands were shaking. He had never seen war that fast, no warning, no battle lines, no struggle, only one pulse, and an entire outpost was erased. His crew whispered the same words again and again, "The humans are back." But the humans did not stop at Gate 9. They moved deeper into Varkon space like they already knew every path, every secret route, every weak point. In the council hall on Varkon Prime, the leaders finally received the warning message from Selu. They watched the live feed of Gate 9 destruction, and for the first time in their lives, they felt true fear. The Supreme Speaker stood up and demanded a full fleet response, send 10,000 ships, crush them before they spread. But the War Minister stared at the screen, and whispered, "Those are not 10,000 ships, those are more." As if the universe wanted to prove him right. The star map behind the council table changed. Red dots appeared all around the borders, not one entry point, but many. Human fleets were rising from empty space, from old dead zones, from hidden dark lanes. The council room became chaos. One leader shouted, "We must negotiate." Another shouted, "We must retreat." Another begged to activate the planet's shields. Then every light in the hall flickered. Every sound stopped. A new signal forced itself onto the main screen. It showed a human face for the first time, a woman in dark uniform, her eyes calm, like deep water. Her voice was soft but heavy. "You called us lost. You called us dead. You took our worlds. Now listen." The room was silent. She continued, "We do not return for land. We return for the stolen names, and for the children you erased." The Supreme Speaker tried to speak, but his mouth failed. The human woman leaned closer to the camera. "You have one chance. Give back every human survivor. Open every prison, or we will make your worlds remember fear." The screen went black, and outside the council city the sky began to glow as human ships entered orbit like giant shadows blocking the sun. The streets of Varkon Prime filled with sirens and panic as the sky turned darker. The human ships hovered above the city like silent mountains. Their blue engines lit the clouds from below, and people looked up feeling small and helpless. In the main defense tower, the Varkon generals gathered around a shaking hologram map. Many of their border systems were already burning. Their outposts were gone. Their fleets were breaking apart before they could even fire. The war minister slammed his fist on the table and shouted, "No one destroys our worlds like this. We will strike back." But the Supreme Speaker could barely breathe. He remembered the human woman and her calm, cold voice, "Open every prison." Then a young officer rushed into the room, his face pale. He said, "Our long-range scanners detected a massive human object entering orbit." The minister laughed, thinking it was another ship. But the officer whispered, "It is not just a ship, it is a weapon." The hologram changed and showed a shadow bigger than the largest moon moving slowly around the planet. It was a ring of metal and broken armor plates stitched together like an old scar, and at the center was a glowing core that pulsed like a living heart. The officer said the humans call it the Grave Crown. The general stared because the name felt like a curse. Suddenly a message hit all screens again. The human woman returned, her voice calm like before. "This is your final warning." The Supreme Speaker stepped forward, his hands shaking. He tried to speak with pride. He said, "We do not keep human survivors, none exist." The human woman did not blink. "Then you will learn what lost means." Her signal ended, and the Grave Crown weapon shifted in orbit. Its core began to glow brighter, and a low hum rolled through the atmosphere like thunder that never stopped. People in the city fell to their knees, holding their ears. Windows shattered, and alarms died. The planet itself seemed to vibrate. In the defense tower, the war minister yelled, "Activate the planet shield now." They pushed the command, but the shield did not rise. The control system froze. Then a strange line of white text appeared on the main screen. "Human override active." The minister screamed and grabbed a side weapon, but before he could move, the tower doors opened. Not with force, not with explosions. They opened smoothly like someone owned the place. A small human unit walked in, 5 soldiers in dark armor with glowing blue strips. Their helmets closed, their steps slow and steady. Varkon guards fired instantly, but the bullets stopped in the air inches from the humans like time had broken. Then the bullets fell to the floor harmless. The human leader raised one hand, and every Varkon weapon in the room powered down at once. The Supreme Speaker whispered, "How did you get inside?" The human leader spoke through his helmet, voice deep and simple. "We never left." Then he threw a small device onto the table. It projected a list of names, thousands of human names with locations under them: prison camps, work mines, hidden labs. The room went silent. The human leader pointed at the list. "These are the lost. Return them now." The war minister tried to act strong. He said, "This is a lie." The human leader stepped closer, and the air felt colder. He replied, "We know every cage you built. We know every child you stole. You have 10 minutes. Then he turned and walked out like he was already sure of the result. Outside, the grave crown core reached full brightness, and a thin beam began forming, aimed at the far side of the planet, not at the city, but at a distant region where a huge, secret prison moon was hidden. And the Varkon leaders finally understood the humans were not asking anymore. They were taking everything back. The secret prison moon was called Calder. It was a cold rock covered in metal walls and deep tunnels. It had no beauty, no light, only guards and cages. It was the place where Varkon sent all problems to disappear. Inside one dark cell, a human boy named Ryan sat on the floor, his hair long, his face thin, but his eyes still alive. He had never seen Earth, only heard stories from older prisoners who whispered about oceans and rain and the smell of trees. The guards always said the same thing: humanity is gone, no one is coming. Ryan learned to stay quiet and wait because hope could hurt more than hunger. Then the moon shook. At first it felt like small stones rolling, then the whole prison trembled, alarms screamed, red lights flashed, and guards ran through the halls shouting in panic. Ryan stood up slowly, his heart pounding. A deep sound filled the walls like a giant drum beating from far away. Then all lights died. The prison went dark. For a moment, every prisoner held their breath. And in the blackness, a soft blue glow appeared between the bars of every cell. A line of text formed in the air like a ghost message. "Hold on." Ryan stared, his hands shaking. He could not speak because the words felt impossible. The bars of his cell melted away like warm wax, sliding into the floor without fire, without noise. The door opened by itself. Ryan stepped out and saw other humans walking out, 2,000 of them, eyes wide, faces pale, moving like they were dreaming. Then the sound came again, louder, closer, and the whole moon shook as if something massive wrapped around it. Outside in space, the human fleet surrounded Calder like a storm. The grave crown weapon aimed its thin beam not to destroy the moon, but to cut it open like a knife. One human dreadnought moved forward toward the main guard tower, its hull scarred old, but proud. Its engines burned blue and bright. Varkon defense cannons fired from Calder's surface, launching missiles and heavy plasma blasts. The dreadnought did not dodge. It took the hits. Fire covered its armor, but the ship kept moving like it did not feel pain. Inside the dreadnought command deck, the human woman stood again. Captain Mira, Hale, her eyes fixed on the prison moon. She spoke calmly. "All rescue teams move now." Human soldiers dropped from ships like falling stars, landing on the moon's surface. They moved through smoke and broken walls, freeing humans, pulling them from cages, carrying injured children on their backs. Ryan saw one soldier stop near him. The soldier removed his helmet, and Ryan saw a human face, real and tired, with a scar across his cheek. The soldier smiled slightly. He said, "You are safe now." Ryan tried to answer, but only tears came out. Then the prison moon defenses activated one last time. A hidden cannon opened from beneath the surface, aiming at the rescue groups. It was huge and charged fast. Captain Mira saw it on her screen. She whispered no. The cannon fired a bright beam toward the human dreadnought and toward the ground teams. The dreadnought moved between the beam and the moon. The beam hit the ship and the sky became white. For a second, everyone thought the dreadnought was gone. But when the light faded, the ship was still there, armor, glowing red, parts broken, but still holding. The human captain slammed her fist once, and her calm voice turned into iron. She said, "Enough." The human fleet answered with one united strike, not loud, not wild, but perfect and deadly. The hidden cannon vanished into dust. The prison moon cracked open, releasing thousands of humans into waiting ships. Ryan looked back at the broken prison and felt something rise inside him, not fear, not sadness. Anger, because now he knew the truth. Humanity was not lost. Humanity was returning, and the galaxy was about to pay. The human fleet left Calder behind as broken metal floated like dead skin in space. Rescue ships carried thousands of freed humans. Many were weak, many were injured, but their eyes were bright again. The word lost no longer lived in them. Captain Mira Hale stood on the command deck, watching the ships form up around her dreadnought. The old giant was wounded, but still alive. Its armor burned and cracked, yet it moved forward with pride. Ahead was Varkon Prime, the heart of the Empire, the place that ordered cages and silence. Varkon fleets gathered in orbit like a wall of fear. Thousands of ships filled the sky. Their weapons charged their commanders, shaking behind strong voices. The Supreme Speaker sent a message to the human channel begging for pause, begging for talks, begging for time. Captain Mira listened and said nothing. Then she opened her own broadcast to every world in the region, every soldier, every citizen, every hidden prison camp. Her voice was calm, but it carried weight like a storm inside steel. She said, "We came for the lost. We found them. Now we come for the truth." The Varkon War Minister ordered full attack, and the alien wall moved forward like a dark wave. Weapons lit the stars, missiles flew like burning rain. The human fleet did not scatter. It stayed close, forming a tight formation like one living shield. Human drones launched silently, small black shapes that vanished then reappeared inside enemy lines, cutting engines, disabling weapons, making ships drift powerless. Varkon commanders screamed in panic because they could not lock onto targets. Their systems lied to them. Their sensors showed empty space while human ships were already beside them. A human cruiser fired one blue pulse, and 3 Varkon battleships broke apart like paper. Another human ship opened a wide beam that cut a whole line of enemy fighters in half without even slowing. The battle became a collapse, not a fight. Varkon ships began to flee, but the space lanes were blocked. Human gate breakers locked every exit. Then the Grave Crown moved into view behind the human line, its core glowing like a cold sun, and the fear of it touched every mind on the planet below. In the council hall, the Varkon leaders watched their fleets fall, and their faces turned gray. They finally understood they were never in control. They were only allowed to pretend. The Supreme Speaker fell to his knees and ordered all weapons down. He begged for mercy. Captain Mira responded with one short message. "Send every prisoner location now. Open every camp now. And stand down." The Varkon leaders obeyed because they had no choice. Ships across the Empire received human rescue teams. Humans moved like shadows, opening cages, freeing survivors, taking children back into safe hands. Ryan stood inside a rescue ship looking down at Varkon Prime. Through a small window, he saw the planet that stole his life, and he felt the weight of everything. A human soldier beside him said, "They will not cage us again." Ryan nodded. Outside, Captain Mira brought her dreadnought close to the planet, but she did not fire, she did not burn cities, she did not destroy the world. Instead, she sent one final broadcast to the whole galaxy. Humans are not gone. Humans are not lost. Humans are awake. We do not seek to rule. We seek respect. And if anyone builds cages again, we will return. The message spread like lightning across the stars, and empires that once laughed began to hide. As the human fleet turned away and the freed people finally breathed air, without fear, a new signal appeared far beyond the battle, far beyond the maps. A dark, silent pulse older than Varkon, older than human space. Captain Mira saw it on her screen, and her eyes narrowed. Because the war was over. But something else had just noticed: humanity had come back.